Welcome back to Celebrity Radio. It's Alex Belfield talking to some of my favourite people and some of the country's biggest stars. And we've got one for you today. Danny Miller, how are you?
Alex, how are you, pal?
Do you know what? I love talking to you, and here's why. You're one of the few people who's got personality, you're credible, you don't get involved in nonsense, and you're in one of the biggest soaps in the country. Congratulations.
Oh, bless you, mate. That's very nice of you to say. It's a great job. Very blessed to feel it as well. So it's good to keep it, your head below above the sea level, so to speak. So yeah.
And of course, the ladies think you're a nice bit of trouser. How's that going? Another feeling I've never had.
I'm sure that's not true, mate. Come on.
A deeply unattractive man I am. You're a sex symbol, of course, and it seems to grow this. I mean, every time that you do one of these photo shoots, there's another 7,000 pages on Google, isn't there?
Well, to be honest, yeah, I don't really. I've not done one for a while. It requires not eating rubbish and stopping drinking beer, and I can't do either. So I struggle with it. But I've not done one for a while. So it's just been nice to kind of settle back into what was a little family that I kind of wanted to come back to. And I say settle back. I've been back a year now. It's unbelievable how quick it's gone, and I'm just absolutely chuffed. It was the right decision from the off, and I just settled back in like I hadn't left, and I absolutely love it, mate. I've told you plenty of times, I've seen you out and about, that it's just a brilliant place to work, and it's so family orientated. It helps everybody in every walk of life, so I love it to bits.
I think it's a Yorkshire thing, the fact that you're not involved in the London nonsense. You're up there, you're sort of a family by yourselves. It is a community, and if there were big egos, they wouldn't survive, would they?
No, absolutely. I mean, they've been and gone here, and the thing is, like, people don't have time for it. The thing is like we're filming 70 pages of script a day, which is like 15, 16 scenes, so we don't have the time for people to be hanging around and seeing who's got the biggest ego. It just doesn't work here, and that's why there just aren't any egos here, and everybody's just out to make the show the best possible way we can. And I mean, it shows so much in the episodes recently in particular, but throughout the whole sort of production of Emmerdale, I think it shows that people are there to make the show as good as it is and as good as it should be, and that's why it works so well. Is because it's a massive team working for one aim. So it's great to be a part of, just a small little part of it.
I have to ask you the question, how do you do it? Because you seem to have more wordy lines than anybody, and your stuff's often incredibly heavy. How do you remember what you've got to say and then bring it to life so quickly?
I think I think going back to it's the team, the teamwork is such. The fact is that the writers and the storyliners work, tirelessly upstairs for the scenes to work and for the scenes to link together for the story arc of 6-7 months, even sometimes even over just a block of which is like 12 episodes. That it kind of feeds in and it's finished within the 12 episodes, but it works so well because it's linked up so cleverly between the team that are upstairs. And I think credit to Kate Oates and the team, as I say many times, that it's just a one big team that it's great to sort of get these kind of acknowledgements from people and stuff, and I think it obviously wouldn't be the same if it wasn't that team, because people write down and sometimes you can almost feel that this writer, if they haven't been through that particular thing, they know somebody that has, because it's so delicate and so well handled that the drama comes to life with the rest of the cast and the directors and the crew that help you along the way as well. So I think a number of things help us play out that drama really that really comes to light on screen. I think that's with the directors, the writers, the storyliners, and everyone that works around it to make it come on screen is they do a great job. And for the fact that we do 6 episodes a week, and 5 nights a week we're on, it's incredible to think just how much we actually get done. And like I say, that's just one big machine that's going round and round, and you're just a part of the cog in the wheel, so to speak. So yeah, like I say, I love it, but it's a team behind the scenes that don't get the acknowledgement they should do, really.
And it's a job. I mean, it is hard work, and you're doing it night in and night out. I wonder, when you get home, do you watch yourself, or have you had enough by that point?
I'm usually not home in time. I'm in Manchester, so I'm an hour away, so it's usually about 8 o'clock or so when I get back. But no, I do. I try my best not to watch every day, because I think I start to get a little bit picky about the choices I've made in my own scenes and stuff, and I think it's better to kind of allow the public to sort of work with that, really, and it makes for a better scene when you think I'm not going to watch it. I'm just going to let it play out as it should do. And obviously when it's the big stuff and it's all the cast coming together, like the helicopter crash and things like that, I think you've got to watch it. It's your job and you should do. And of course, I already know what's going on, Alex, so I don't really need to tune into it. But
you've also got to be careful, haven't you? I once spoke to a star who said that they watched themselves once and then they changed the one thing that they didn't like about themselves, but it was the one thing everybody loved. You've got to be careful, haven't you? You can't put your finger on why people enjoy watching you.
No, and I think that's it. When you delve into that too much, it becomes too much of a obsessive thing that you just kind of got to play it how the script writer and the director see it, and hopefully the audience will love it just as much as you do making it, and more often than not that's the case. But sometimes I watch it and that's where I get frustrated with myself because I've made a particular choice that I wish I hadn't. So I tend not to, but the thing is it's out there now, and you've just kind of got to watch it from a viewer's point of view. And I think that's my favourite bit, is kind of watching it when I know I'm not in it, and I can watch from a viewer's point of view, and enjoy the other storylines from the other cast. And it's always a great little boost for them when you see them say great stuff on screen last night, etc. And if you keep in touch with the show as well, I think it helps.
You want to be more like me? I could spend 4 or 5 hours a night listening to myself. I love it. I think.
Well, you've got a good voice. You've got a voice.
Yeah, and a face. Do you know what's amazing about you is when I look at your CV, there was a point where you were about to leave the business and go and be a builder or something, and here you are in 2015, Best Actor. Was that ever really a possibility that you were going to give up? Because that's remarkable.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, before Emmerdale, I was blessed with this job. I mean, I was 17 when I came into it, and to think back of how young I was when I was actually saying I was going to be, leaving the industry is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, I know people now that are 40 odd that really struggle to work and they still enjoy it when they get the odd job here and there. So for me, it was a bit naive of me at a young age there to say that kind of thing. But obviously, you say it's in the press and it's done and dusted. But I was at a point where I was getting that many knockbacks and I hadn't had a regular job or a big job that I could kind of go, this is why I'm doing it, because I'm an actor, and I hadn't had anything until Emmerdale came along. And I think, I went on holiday after the first audition, and I was only told it was like 3 episodes, and then when I came, they told me to come back off holiday, and I didn't want to because I was told it was 3 episodes, but my gut feeling was to come back, and a friend of mine gave me the right advice, and I got on the next flight, came back to the audition, and she said, it's for 6 months, this contract, possibly a year. So I was like, oh. Wow. So then I started panicking, but then what I didn't want to do was then allow that panic and nerves to overtake the audition, which brought me back, because they enjoyed my performance of the edginess, roughness of it, the audition before, and I think it was the fact that I didn't care about it in a way, but that sounds not in an arrogant way, more of the fact that I wasn't desperate for the job, and I think that was what was knocking me back a lot of the time before, was that I was desperate and too over keen for it, and that made people kind of always a bit keen, and I think it was that laid back thing that they thought would suit the character, and I've never looked back. It's just a fantastic job, and I wanted to go out and do stuff as well, which I did at a young age, because I wanted to experience it and say I'd done it, and I did it, and it wasn't necessarily for me, and I was lucky enough that they wanted me back here just as much as I wanted to come back to the show as well. So you
did a small part in Coronation Street before you did Emmerdale, didn't you?
You've done your bloody research, haven't you? Yeah, I did. I actually got down to last couple for a part years ago. It wasn't a major part or anything, but it was just...
You weren't going to be Roy, were you, or something? That would have been marvellous.
I was going to be Roy's long lost son. No. I can't remember what it was. I think it was a mate of somebody, but I was like 15, and they called me back for it, and they said, "Oh, do you want? You didn't get this part. Would you want this part?" So I was like, "Yeah, great, Coronation, offer me a part." I got there, and it was a walk on 3, which is like literally just walking onto it and saying cheers, mate, and walking off, and that was it.
To think you could have been Norris's love child, this is depressing.
It can happen, so can't it? I could be Norris.
Yeah.
I think, right, just bang the glasses on, a bit of a stutter, and
there's still time.
Yeah, you never know.
My auntie, who's 107 years old...
See, that's believable. It's the realistic age, 107 these days. I heard someone the other day was 112th birthday.
Is that right? Takes some blowing out of the cake, though, doesn't it?
Well, yeah.
You know, the thing about you is you're able to do this pathos and this sort of tragedy with Aaron that is so rare. How draining is that when you have to do this scene after scene where you're crying, you're emotional? I mean, it must be easier to be one of those characters that's just doing nonsense all day. Is it exhausting?
Yeah, I mean, I think the exhaustion, a lot of it comes from the waiting around. I think people think that actors have kind of got this lifestyle that's like, it's a wannabe lifestyle, and it's definitely not. There's a lot of waiting around, there's a lot of mental game with it. The fact that you've got to remember your lines anyway, but then wait for an hour until you're back on set to do the same scene again in a different a different camera angle or a different setup, and it kind of, it can throw you, and your brain's got to stay on it all day, and that's the difficult part. I think that's where the exhaustion comes from. For me, when I'm in it, and I enjoy doing the dramatic stuff with the emotion and stuff, and like Lucy and Dominic, the guys I usually do, Chaz and Paddy, who I usually do most of the emotional stuff with, are just so great to bounce off that, we kind of look at the time and go, oh God, it's 4 o'clock, we're nearly done, and I think that's what bodes well for such a dramatic scene, is that we're just completely in it, and enjoying it, and, that's not kind of a posh, snobby kind of actor, that's just, the fact that there's the three of us in a room, and we're really sort of playing our trade sort of thing, and we love it.
Can you walk out of Aaron's role within a second of leaving that studio, or does it take you time?
No, I think most people here, to be fair as well, I think they're very good at kind of switching it off. I think when you shut the studio door, you've kind of got to, really, because otherwise it takes over your life, and it becomes something that's, that it isn't, and it becomes stressful when the job really isn't. It's a great job to have, and it's something that, you should feel blessed to have, and I think, again, loads of people do here, and that's kind of what goes well for a good cast and a good team, and I think that's, again, it's, it's shutting the studio door and just walking out of it and thinking that's the end of it, it's done and dusted, and I'm quite good at kind of saying, that like when the guy says cut, that's it, and we're done and we're dusted, we've got a wrap for the day, then I'm quite good at dropping it, and like I said, I think you have to, really, otherwise you become crazy with it.
Yeah, you would. You become mental. And then I wonder, when you shut the studio door but people still know who you are, does that ever become normal?
I wouldn't say normal. I mean, I think it's still strange that people kind of, just recognise, and sometimes you just often forget if you're in a daze and you think, oh, they're looking at, God, staring over here and pointing, and then you go, yeah, cut the TV thing. But I think, so long as people are polite and stuff, I'm always happy to meet people. I think it's great, like, I used to meet loads of people when I was younger, the stars and stuff. Like, football's always been my thing, but meeting Coronation Street stars when I was younger and stuff, it made my day. And you have to always have that in the back of your mind, that you're making the day. And if you are in a bad mood, just put on a fake smile, get your arm around them, have a picture, and leave you alone. Then, and that's usually how it's done. But I don't think you'll ever get used to it. I think it's very strange that it kind of happens as a norm. Really, I think that's the strange thing about it. But
here's a question for you then. I can give you a career as an actor or 1 year in the Premiership as a footballer. Which would you take?
Oh, you're horrible. That's a horrible question. I'd probably, do you know what? Just for the sake of my lifestyle, because I like to go out and have a beer at the weekend with my mates and enjoy it. I'd go for the actor, because you can put on weight and lose a bit of weight and go to the gym and do what you want. Whereas football, I think it's, and especially only a year. I mean, what's happened to me for a year? Have I broke a bone? Am I out of the, are they joking? But no, I'd take acting. It's my trade. It's what I enjoy doing. It's what I've always thrived to do. So that'd be it. But it's tempting. A year's football. I could probably make enough money in a year in the Premier League to retire and make my own thing. So it's a good question, but I'd stick with the actors.
All right. And it's interesting. I mean, the last time we spoke, you were at the height of Emmerdale in 2011. You then left and you've come back, and you're back at the top again. You've just won the Best Actor. How thrilling is it to stand on a stage and be awarded that? Because you are literally up against the rest of the business, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's always overwhelming for a start, because I still feel as though I'm finding my feet a little bit, with the whole business, and still learning new things. And I think it's crazy to kind of be up there with people like Adam Woodyard and Danny Dyer that have been there for years, and they know the business inside out. And I think it's always quite unbelievable in a way. I never quite get a grasp of it, of how it comes to it so quick. And I love it. That's where I think you need your friends and your family in particular that kind of just keep your feet grounded and sort of say, we know you are, and you don't need to prove that to anyone. And I think just kind of being yourself is always the way to.
I get that, but your humility is disappointing in a way. I mean, you're a big star. You've been doing it a long time. You're award-winning several times over. When are you going to give yourself a break and admit you've qualified as an actor?
I don't know, because that's it. You see, the thing is now it's happening now, and then in 2 years, you never know, when the writers upstairs get a little bit bored and they decide to bump you off, that's it. You're done, and then I think you're back to the picky line with everybody else. And then the thing for me is always worrying that, one day it's here and then the next day it's gone. And I think whilst you're here, just enjoy it for exactly who you are, and that's what I'm doing. And I think it's great to make sure that everybody else gets the acknowledgement as well as taking it yourself. And
oh, balls to them. Think about yourself. You've got your own ego to support. Never mind them.
Exactly. I'll start on my own.
It seems like you're living the dream at the minute. I mean, the girlfriend thing seems to be going very well. You're a sexy couple. Congratulations on that.
Cheers, mate. Yeah, it's all good, mate. She's great. She's over at Hollyoaks and doing her thing, so I kind of leave her to it, and then she goes one way on the M62, I go the other way, and that's it. She cracks on with her work, and that's it. We meet back about 8 o'clock for a cup of tea and a sit down and a chat and see what's happened during the day, just like every other normal couple, I'd imagine. So
one of the reasons I have such great respect for you, you've never been caught out doing the drugs or falling out of pubs and clubs or anything like that. You've got great pride for that stuff, haven't you? That the business comes first and your reputation's valuable.
Yeah, I think exactly that. I think when you are kind of seen to be, I mean, I don't get me wrong, I've been drunk a few times coming out of pubs. It's just the cameras aren't there to catch it, but I think it's part and parcel for your career. And at the end of the day, if you're gonna put yourself out there to the public as being this kind of bad boy wannabe that's a little bit always drinking and doing the drugs and stuff, that's kind of that's not the career you want to be taking unless you want to be doing that celebrity Big Brother kind of stuff. And that's absolutely fine if people want to do that. But for me, as my own personal career choice, that's where I want to be, is taken seriously as an actor, or whether that's in soap, drama, theatre, whatever. It doesn't bother me. I just want to be taken like that. And also having the charity as well is kind of a massive reason that you can't kind of be seen as this role model, I guess.
Yeah, and the last two things I want to talk about is the charity work. I mean, it's remarkable what you've done. I mean, you are literally the chief ambassador of this great charity, and it means the world to you, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. I mean, God bless Gavin Blythe was here when we did our first interview, and we were talking so highly of him, and it was just one of those sad things that he was taken too early through cancer, and what I saw was the family kind of disappear into the background, and a lot of people kind of naturally mourn for the widow and kind of cared for the widow, and which is obvious, but I mean the kids as well is something that kind of get put in the background. They don't understand it for a start, but also the fact that mum's kind of getting all the attention or dad's getting all the attention, and they want a little bit, and I wanted to create something that would make us able to get that family back together as a unit, and whether that be abroad in Spain somewhere or down at the Centre Parks down at the bottom of Cornwall, something that was just going to create a little family vibe for them, so no one could dip in and mum or dad could take control of the situation and say, look, this is it, this is how it's done. And now we've got a bereavement school of counselling groups, which is headed up by Kelly, our brilliant bereavement counsellor there at the charity, and she kind of gives the children an open way of allowing them to talk about exactly what they want to talk about and how they're grieving, in what ways and what they're feeling. And they do that in a relaxed environment where they're able to just sort of sit and talk about anything they want to talk about. If they don't want to talk about the loss, they don't have to. They can sit there and do some painting and watch a film, play on the Subbuteo, them kind of things. And we just really created a childlike atmosphere for them to be able to just open up as much or as little as they want to do. And over the 5 years we've been going now, for nearly 5 years we've been going, it's just grown so quickly and to something beyond what we thought it would ever be. And I think for me, as standing back as co-founder and the chief ambassador of it, as well as Daniel, who's Gillians, who we've done it with, who's the co-founder and chair, we've just taken it to the next level, and I think it's something that we're hoping to thrive on now in the UK for the next however long we can make it happen. And yeah, I mean, we're chuffed to bits with the people that fundraise and donate for us. It's just something that wouldn't happen. The charity wouldn't happen without these people doing that. So it's credit to them as well.
What a beautiful thing to do. Once Upon a Smile is the charity. You can find out by Googling Once Upon a Smile. And Danny Miller, of course. If you ever want me to do my burlesque act, by the way, at one of your charity events, it just involves 2 tassels and me turning up. I'm more than happy to do that for you. It'll raise a few quid.
When you say turning up?
Well, I'm more turning down, I suppose. I normally am.
Good lad.
Hey, listen.
Keep it in mind, Alex. You're a very good-looking lad. I'd love to see you in some tassels.
Yes, I think so. Yeah, if nothing else, it'd get them out at the end of the night, wouldn't it? So to speak. Hey, listen. Congratulations on on everything. As far as I'm concerned, you're one of our greatest actors ever, and it's not surprising that you keep winning these awards. Keep at it. How long are you going to be in Emmerdale for? Any signs of moving on, or are you there for good at the moment?
I'm here for as long as I can blag it as far as I'd like to, but it's not in my hands, is it? I'd love to stay and they know that, so I'll just wait with bated breath, hoping that one day they'll pick up the phone and just say, do you want another one after another one, meaning a contract and not a sacking.
Good for you. Listen, you're one of our greatest talents. It's always great to talk to you. Danny Miller, you can find out more about the charity at Once Upon a Smile. Of course, Aaron continues to wow audiences on Emmerdale. Good to talk to you, mate.
Top man. Cheers, Alex. Appreciate it, man.